My name is Tish and welcome to the Artist Haven. In this live stream, we are continuing with our 30 journals in 30 days. And today we're going to keep it simple. We're going to keep it just really, I'm shooting for no longer than 90 minutes today. I have this idea and I want to play around with it because I want to make junk journaling accessible to everybody. And even if you don't have a creative bone in your body, I hear so many people say that, and it's like, it's not that hard. It's very simple for me because I've been doing art stuff since I was knee-high to a grapefruit. I want people to know that you can do this with the help of other artists and other creative people. You can do this. So, and you don't have to use the exact tools I have. It's scissors and glue and some innovation, some thinking outside of the box, and you can make yourself a neat little gift for somebody, for their birthday, for Christmas, you know, whatever. So we're gonna keep this really simple and fun. So without further ado, let's get this ball rolling. I have this stamp. Now, if you don't have a stamp, you can take an image out of an old book. You can take pieces, you know, something out of a magazine, a piece of mail that you got, anything you've got that symbolizes something someone loves or you love, you know, a beautiful picture of a rose or a dress that you love, you know, or a Disney character that you adore. Anything can be your focal point. So I'm using, this is from Tim Holtz. I bought this set eons ago. This would have been probably 2017-ish, maybe 18, because I love steampunk and I love kind of the whole skeleton vibe, and I'm not a huge horror fan, but I love horror movies and sci-fi movies and just thinking outside the box. And I found some scrap. This is kind of an ivory manila color cardstock, and there is a die that goes with this to cut them out. I embossed the last two, but I like the stamps. I was just playing around with the stamp. I've never used it because it was lost in my supplies, and I had a die cutter at one point, and then I borrowed it out and didn't get it back, and thankfully I didn't give them the die to this. So we're going to cut out this image, so you can take a scissors and cut it out however you want. I have hand issues, so sometimes that prevents me, and that's why I have a silhouette, and that's coming soon. Cut files for silhouette. And then this is just some packaging material that I had handy. So, and it's a nice heavy chipboard. I'm not sure exactly where this came from because the label has been removed, and I'm just going to take my letter opener here, and we're just going to coax it open without drawing blood. Because this thing, I got this at a, what is it called? An estate sale, you know, garage sale in May, and I've been using it a lot, and I was like, this thing is awesome. They don't make them like this anymore. But it's literally a small dagger. If someone were to startle me, I pity them because there would be blood. Not that I'd want it because I don't like blood. I mean, I like the fact that I have it and I'm alive, but other than that, nope. So we're just going to take the tape off of this and utilize this packaging. So there we go. Well, you weren't supposed to break right there, but it did, so we'll make it work. There we go. Let's open this up. We're tearing the, try and not tear it if you can. There we go. Now we're cooking with Crisco. Now let's open this end. And now the tape decides it wants to lift up. That's okay. I think it got my finger. Yep, there's a little bit of blood there. Ooh, strawberry jam. That's what we call it. I do not like strawberry jam because even the word gives me the heebie-jeebies. Okay, so we cut the tape. This is not like opening a Christmas present. You don't want to just rip open the packaging. There we go. There we go. Now we have this big piece of chipboard. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring out Fanny. Now, you don't have to have a Fanny. Well, my mind went somewhere else. Everybody has a Fanny, Tish. It's not my Fanny. I'm going to bring out Fanny here. Fanny is my Fiskars cutter, and she's well-rounded. So let's make this to fit regular letter size paper, which in the US it is 8.5 by 11. So if you fold it in half, it becomes 5.5 by 8.5. Or if you fold it in the long ways, it becomes 4.25 by 11. And that's what we're going to go for. I think they're called traveler's journals that are that dimension. But since we have such a nice long fold here, we're going to work with that. And we're going to cut this off, and hopefully she'll work like she's supposed to. I'm going to move these before I get them all crinkled. But you don't have to have a cutter like this. You can have a knife, a box knife or a rotary knife, and a cutting mat, or even just something, you know, that's will resist the cut. Let's see if we can get this through. Come on, you know you want to. Oh yeah. Okay, we're getting it. Let's flip it over. Line it up. May not be the straightest cut, but we can fix it. And it moved. Okay, so let's do this. There we go. So, but just a knife and a blade and a ruler. There we go. Whew. Okay, now we should be able to fit it. No, not quite. Now save this, because you can use these for, you can use this piece for a piece of a spine. These you can cut out and use them for closures. Basically my rule is anything smaller than my thumb gets put in the bin for paper clay. That's my general rule of thumb. And every time I say rule of thumb, I think of the movie Boondock Saints. If you are a Boondock Saints person, if you get my reference, please let me know. Let me know I'm not the only person. So this is 11, so let's cut it as long as we can, so we can make sure it's straight. That's actually relatively straight. So there's this little notch here. Let me see something really quick. Excuse me. Okay, where did my other ruler go? No. This is why I try and clean up my desk, but then again, me be organized? Yeah. Oh, here it is. I found it. Okay, so we want it to be at least 5, so we're good. So let's cut this off. Come on, you know you want to. Let's cut this off at like 11.5, just so we have room to trim. Okay, I'm bracing. I am looking for Vicini. Ha! Ta-da! There we go. Phew. All right. Now, we're going to be able to get 2 of these out of this. So we want this to be at least 5. So we are straight right there. Oh, you know what we need to do? I always like to pull the blade towards me. Seem to have more strength that way. Yeah, let's do it this way. And then we'll have a nice chunk for more, whew, I'm getting my arm workout today. There we go. Oh. That was fun, sort of. Okay, I'm gonna cut that later. Yeah, we'll do that one later. There we go. And then we're gonna make sure that this is straight here. So we're just gonna shave off just the tiniest bit. There we go. And here, so we want to make sure that I'm going to do 11.5. So that gives us a 1/4 inch on either side. There we go. Nice and long. Look at that. Beautiful. Now, because this is a cardboard, this is going to be a cardboard spine, I am going to put a piece of, you can use packaging tape, but I'm going to use some boxing tape just to reinforce the spine. You can use duct tape if you want. I'm going to need Fanny again, but we're going to put, excuse me, on the inside. I'm going to put it on the inside, just like this. All right, where did my scissors go? There they are. Okay. And if you don't, like I said, if you don't have packaging tape or boxing tape like this, I get this. It's about, it used to be $8 a roll, but now it's like 12. And a roll lasts me forever, and I use it all the time for reinforcing stuff, just for anything and everything. This roll is probably going to last me another 3 to 6 months, and I've had it, well, I've only been making journals the last 9 months or so again, but I was making journals and artwork every day for a long time. But then life got lifey. So anyway, there we go. Now here's your blank slate. You can paint it, you can collage on it, you can do whatever you want to it. I personally, because I'm trying to do quick and easy, we're just going to hit this baby with inks. And then we're going to make a focal point, and we're going to sew in a signature. And that's going to be it. It's going to be just a quick and simple project that you can do. So we're going to ink this, and we're going to put paper on the inside. So we're going to put the paper on the inside first, just because it needs to dry before we fold it. So let's pick out a paper. And I have all kinds of paper. And you don't have to have all kinds of paper. You can put newspaper in here. You can put a digital print. I have all kinds of freebies on my Ko-Fi page. The link is in the description. You can print them off and Bob's your uncle, okay? And just collage all over it. Use them, please. That's what they're there for. Let me put this back. And then I think I want to do a lighter weight paper. I want to do an actual paper. I don't want to do cardstock. Let's see what we got here. I buy a lot of stuff on clearance because I'm frugal. And some of the stuff is so expensive. I don't see the reasoning behind spending full price. I mean, even the store that shall not be named, they always put their stuff on sale. So if they can put always on sale, then what's the real like bargain price, really? Okay, so this is all my scrapbook paper. Ooh, I like this. Let's do this for the inside. But I buy, you know, I go to the clearance place. The clearance aisles is where I always hit up first. And then and then I'll go get what I went there to get. And that's why a trip to Michael's or Joann's, rest in peace, used to be an hour-long production because I would go shop the clearance first. All right, so this is going to be our outside. This is going to be our inside. We're going to take this paper but first we're going to ink the edges with black. Now, you do not have to do this. You can take a Sharpie marker. Let me show you. Let me get a black one. I only have a blue one at my desk right now. Do I have a blue one, black one in this bin? Yes, I do. Sharpie marker. You can get it at Dollar Tree, $1.25. You can get them in various colors. You can even get them in metallic. I'm going to show you a hack. You take the edge of the marker and you run it alongside the edge of your cardstock, or this is chipboard. So you can, if you don't have packaging, like shipping packaging like this is, you can use cereal boxes, cracker boxes, tea boxes, whatever you have, use it. You know, and if you're watching this video and you think you have something, ask me in the comments, ask me in chat, ask me. Come on the live streams. Be like, hey Tish, I've got this. What would you do with it? I will flood you with ideas. So the other reason why I don't do that is because I do that. And I'm going to show you a quick way to take care of that. See, I just did it again. So I am a very ADHD person. So I'm just like constantly moving, and I have a little bit of a shake. No, it's not Parkinson's, thankfully, or ALS. I get myself checked for those. My cousin had ALS, so I just want to make sure, you know. And anyway, you can do this in any color you want. I'm choosing black because I'm going to go back and ink this with black. But I just want to show you, you can do this better than me, probably. Oh, yeah. Now, if you put it down on a piece of paper and just draw alongside of it, that works too. I still do it. So if you take, like, let me see, I have a piece of paper up here that's like a junk thing. There we go. So if you take a piece of paper and you go like this up against the edge, it's actually faster. But then you get that black edge, but it's not is not as sharp. I suppose you could flip it over and do the other side. Let's see if that works. But I still get it on the side. There we go. I think we got all the edges. So if you have something like this, just take your marker and just kind of make it intentional. And then while it's still drying, there he is. Take and mist it with rubbing alcohol. And then take, I'm just going to take this piece of fabric. And you can rub it, and sometimes it'll blend. Sometimes it's a process of this or that. And sometimes you can just spray the fabric and go back in. And it kind of bleeds it out a little bit. Like that. See, we took off a bunch of ink. There we go. Okay. So that's that. Now we need to wait for it to dry a little bit. I'm going to turn it and do the other side because I'm just going to cover that. Honestly, I wish I would have done it on this side. But because this isn't going to be covered with, it's not going to be covered with, what's the word? Bird's the word. It's not going to be covered with paper. There we go. So you can get inexpensive ink or save up. And these at the Painted Raven, I can get you 10% off by using the coupon code in the description. And, you know, you can get them for fairly inexpensive. I think they are, the archival are right around $6. And then the refills are another $5, I think. Don't quote me on that. But I happen to like using ink because I can do cool stuff. So I'm putting the archival ink down first. I use and we'll skip that because that's all wet still. And I do have a little brush. You can use one of the makeup brushes to do this. You do not have to use a dauber. And I'm just coming in and laying down my base of black. And I'm using a circular motion. You can not use a circular motion. You can do whatever you want, but I think it looks more whimsical if you do the circular motion. And I'm going to get the spine here. And I push really hard, so my cheap dauber pads get frayed very easily. All right, so while this is drying, and we already got the edge black, let's put our glue down. Let's get the edge here too. It's not going to matter much, but it just makes me feel better. Okay, that needs to dry more. And this one, it doesn't matter so much because we're going to bring the paper all the way to the edge. But just in case it lifts, it gives it something other than craft paper to look at. And I like how it bleeds on this side. It's cool. I'm actually going to leave that. I'm just going to kind of fade into that. There we go. Okay. Yeah, this poor dauber needs to be changed. It's okay though. Excuse me. So we're going to line this up with this right here. Let's move this out of the way for a moment. Let's throw it on the floor. I throw everything on the floor. Let's turn this over. This will be easier to do this way. So I'm going to line this up just like this. There we go. We'll take our pencil, draw a line, and another line. There we go. And you can take your scissors and cut this out, but I'm going to grab a fanny right here. And because I have a line, I don't have to unfurl her. There we go. And we're going to hit this with purple ink on the edge just so we don't have the white line. Again, you can use the Sharpie and just hit it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Put this in our scrap pile. There we go. And grab my purple ink and my purple ink dauber, which is in my container because I actually put them all away. Look at me go, being all neat and tidy. So red is for oxides, yellow is for inks. And I got this case on Amazon, and I have one other one that I use for some other stuff that I have. Right now it is, it's like mixed media stuff. Little wood cutouts and stuff like that. So, but I'm going to actually put all my distressed paints in there. So I have them all in a container. So I use them and I can have them right here handy. I have all the paints. I have yet to use them as much as I have wanted to because I forget that they're there. I always go for the paint that's closer, and that would be like my Liquitex and my Golden, because those are my favorite brands. I was doing acrylic pouring, which I'm going to be starting again as soon as it's not 115 million degrees outside, because I'm going to be doing acrylic pouring down in the garage, and the garage is not air conditioned, so it gets a little crazy. All right, so now we have the edges taken care of, and it's these little things, taking care of edges, rounding corners, beveling corners, you know, just doing different things that can make or break your project. So we're going to line this up in the corner like that, and then we're going to take a paper clip that's not a chain paper clips, and we're going to paper clip that there and that there. Now I got the hiccups. Excuse me one moment. I'm going to get a drink of my water. Okay, and I held my breath too. So I'm just going to use some Boho glue and a little bit of art glitter glue, but you can use whatever glue sticks works for you. You can use Elmer's glue. Just if you're going to use a liquid PVA glue like Elmer's glue or something like that, grab a sponge brush and spread it out, because then your paper is less likely to crinkle and wrinkle. So because we're putting the paper on this side, I'm going to hit this whole area with Uhu glue stick, and this is my favorite glue stick to use. My secondary favorite when I can't get a hold of these is the Tomball glue sticks. Stephanie at the Painted Raven has them on her website, and you can get 10% off. I think it's 10%. I always never try to say what it is because I can never remember if it's 5 or 10. I don't want to oversell people. I feel bad if I do that. All right, so we're going to lay down. We're going to make sure it's nice and even by overlapping our strokes. And I'm not pushing real hard. I'm more or less gliding it across the top. Kind of like a crumb coat on a cake. So if you get that reference. And then we're going to take this and we're going to put it around the edges. There we go. And then we'll take our finger and just kind of lay it out a little bit, because this will wrinkle paper if you have too much. It has for me anyway. So that was probably not the wisest place to put the excess. And then we'll just lay this down. And if it doesn't lay down perfectly, it's okay, handmade. We can come back in and snip it off, or we can distress it down, or whatever. Don't sweat the small stuff. Everything can be fixed. Unlike broken hearts, which broken hearts can be fixed too. They can, if you have the right people in your life. The trick is to find those people. All right, I'm just taking a brayer. You can take a rag. Let me find my rag. Where did you go, sir? You were right here. There you are. You got kicked under the table. That's a sorry state of affairs. So I get these kitchen towels. They're power sock towels. And then I just use it to burnish it down. There you go. You don't need to have a fancy brayer like I do. I just like it because my hand strength. And then we'll take the paper clips off. And see, we have very little wrinkling. Very little at all. There's a little wrinkle right there. That's okay. I'm not going to sweat it. So let's pull this back a little bit. Now, if you want to, you can score the line that you're going to be folding, and that will help so you don't get buckling. But if you let your glue dry completely before you fold it, you're less likely to get that buckling. And I mean, like, your chances drop dramatically. So be patient. I know I am probably the most impatient artist in the world. Like, I want results now. That's why I loved acrylic pouring. That's even why I liked furniture, because furniture, I wouldn't get direct results, but I could get them quickly, you know? Unlike counter cross stitch. I know someone who worked on a counter cross stitch project for like 3 years, and I'm like, nope, not gonna happen. Not this girl. So I'm gonna put a line down here and a line back, and then we're gonna put a line here and here, like that. And then I'm gonna take my finger and just kind of smush it down so there's no major globs, major blobs, right? Blob free. And this is going to be interesting to try and get. There we go. I'm trying to get it to the edge. Both these glues dry clear, so we're pretty safe when it comes to that. And then we're going to press this down and out, down and out. There we go. And then we're going to take our rag and just burnish where that fold is at, so we get a nice seal. And you can do the rest of it, or you can be me and use the roller. You can get these on Amazon for fairly inexpensive. I'm not sure if Stephanie has these at the shop. I've never noticed, but then again, I wasn't looking. Now you can see I have a little extra here. I have a little extra here. I wasn't quite straight, but you know what? I'm going to leave it because we'll cut it off if it really is bothersome. I'm going to let this dry on the other side, and we're going to work on this side. So what are we going to do? I don't know. What are we going to do? We are going to bring in some more black ink down this corner. It's unbalanced, but you can see it kind of smudges the edge when you bring in the rubbing alcohol. You can actually do like tattoos on kids or young adults. I want a tattoo. Okay, sit down and draw with a Sharpie marker and give them a temporary tattoo. I used to do it on the back of this hand all the time, but now I have a permanent one. And I got it in memory of my daddy. So there, now you know. I'm just going to bring this black all the way in. I don't think we designated a top or a back. All right, now, so we can kind of just work it until until we like it, because this is a non-directional paper. So if you put a directional paper in there, you're going to want to do something a little more directional. So I'm going to come in with some rubbing alcohol here and make it splotchy. Whew. I need to drink water after that because the fan just blew it right in my face. Hang on one second. Okay, I have this really cool brick not template, what are they called? Oh geez, stencil. There we go. Words are hard. I got this at, I think I got this at the Painted Raven, if I remember correctly. And it looks like that. So we're gonna make, I like the way the back turned out here, so I'm gonna leave that, and I'm not real happy with the way this looks here, so we're gonna alter this. And I'm gonna bring this all the way to the edge, and this all the way to that edge like that. And to help us keep it all in place, we're gonna grab some painter's tape and the silicone mat. Because silicone mat, it's not a grip mat, but it helps. I don't have the grip mat, I'm not that fancy. And I figure Tim Holtz and Ranger get a lot of my money anyways. There we go. And because this is so wide, I'm just gonna tear it in half. And then, excuse me, I got the hiccups and they just won't go away. I don't know what is wrong with me. Trying to get it to stick to the mat as well as that. And now I have Distress Oxide Fossilized Amber, Aged Mahogany, and Rusty Hinge. So we're going to start with the yellow first. And I'm just going to pull out my dauber thing and have it sit on this stack beside me. I've been looking for a rolling cart that's like 2 feet by 3 feet and has storage on it and doesn't cost $300. So where's my yellow? There's yellow, orange, and red. There we go. Now I'm not going to do the whole thing in yellow or orange or red. I'm just going to kind of come in and blot the color down. Okay, that looks good to me. I'm going to need that for the top because we're going to move this up. Orange. Now you can make your own stencils with cardstock or what have you, whatever you have on hand. Just cut it out. Take a blade and cut it out, and then you can use that stencil, or you can use acrylic packaging, the acetate packaging, and make your own stencil. Because stencils can be a little expensive, I'll admit. But if you, I don't even take care of mine, and I've had stencils for like 10 years. Maybe less if it's something I really love. Okay, and then we're going to come back in and we're going to hit this with red. This is aged mahogany, which is probably my favorite red. I do have the bright red too, but I want this kind of grungy. And because we have the black in the background, it makes it even pop even more. There we go. Now I'm going to mist this with water. Now I have the Tim Holtz sprayer. I also have another mister. This guy does not want to stay where he's put. There we go. But you can also get water bottles. This is water because it's a blue bottle, water. Pink and purple are usually my alcohol. Usually pink is alcohol. But that's how I color code in my head. You don't have to have something fancy like this. You can use this. But I prefer this one because I can pull it slowly and just get drips. And I am holding this other edge down because I don't want the water to go underneath the stencil. But if it does, I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, I'm going to grab the hairdryer. Give me a moment. Okay. Now say you don't have oxides. You don't have to, oh, that was still wet. That's no bueno. That's okay. We can come back to it. And we can fix that. See, this is why I love live streams, because you get to see the boo-boos. You get to see how I fix things. And I think that's half the learning battle, is learning how to fix your happy accidents. And sometimes the happy accidents look cooler than anything else. Okay, so we're gonna flip this over so it's not the same. And it's turning out perfect the way I wanted it to. I'm making sure I don't have any water on it. I'm rubbing it. I have my other towel on my leg and I'm just rubbing it on my leg. So we're gonna bring this one right about here. So this is where we had that rubbing alcohol, which is, it's fine. Don't sweat the small stuff, yo. Okay, so I'm gonna put this here. And I'm not gonna fix this until we do the rest of the stencil, because what if we need to fix this stencil, you know? What if we need to fix this layer? And we just make our work double. All right, I'm just gonna lightly pull that there. There we go. And we're gonna do the same thing, yellow first. And if you notice, the yellow doesn't really pop until you put the water on. Then it like cha-boom. Okay, yellow. Orange rusty hinge. It's kind of funny because I know exactly where I'm going to put it before I even put it down. It's like, oh, it needs it there. And just go with your gut. Don't overthink things. Just go with it. Just flow with it. You're not going to know until you try. You know, don't be intimidated by something new because you're not going to know until you try. I mean, if I can learn computers, anybody can learn computers and anybody can do art. It's about creating with a feeling, and everybody has emotions, everybody has a feeling. Okay, now we're just going to go in really heavy right here. And then let the red give way. All right, now this one's sticking up a little bit more than the other one, so we come in with our shtick and hold it down, and then we're going to do the whole drippy-doo. Wasn't dippity-doo like a hair gel? And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to just give it a mist. There we go. Just a quick mist. This is going to be interesting. I'm going to mute my microphone because I'm going to bring out the hairdryer. Okay, I just realized that my microphone was on mute this whole time. All right, so this die I got from Stephanie at the Painted Raven, and the other one is a Tim Holtz one. Okay. Can't believe I had that off the whole time, and I don't think I had my music playing. It's been one of those really good days and really weird days all at the same time. Excuse me. But now I'm doing this really lightly, but still kind of firmly, because I want to get in those crevices. But I don't want it to be even. I want it just to kind of grunge it up a little bit. Oh, I missed one. How did you do that, Tish? All right. All right, so this is going to go on here like this. And then we're going to take him. We need something to go behind him. Not that. I've been itching to use this stuff. I need a little scissors. So we're going to use this today, I think. Today's the day. There we go. Maybe. So, what if, yeah, we want the grungy looking stuff. Just come in, just kind of haphazardly cut this. And then cut it this way, kind of haphazardly. There we go. And I'm going to put some Distress Oxide on here so it's not as shiny. Let's put Rusty Hinge on there. It's red, orange. We're probably not going to be able to see it, but this is going to knock back some of the shine. Some of it. Okay, now we've got layer number 2. Let me do this way. Then we need something a little more solid. but so far so good. Let's put him right there like that, so it holds it all together. The other thing I was thinking too, I want to give this an opportunity to dry. We're going to take the black ink and hit this where we have the lift up. It's purple. You know what? We're going to come in with purple. And then hit it with black. Oop. I need this. So we're going to kind of go like that. And then like this. And then we'll bring it up here. And bring it down in here. And we're going to have the centerpiece, the focal piece here. So it's not going to be that big of a deal. And then we're going to hit purple here. Hit some purple here. And some purple here. That way we tie in the inside with the outside. There we go. And then take this. Do that. That to work. And I'll hit this like that. Move this around. And hit that. There we go. Okay, and the other thing I wanted to do is I want to take some twisted citron. Because I want to do this little pop of color. And I have the spray, which I also get at the Painted Raven. So let me shake this up. And I'm going to spray it and then hit it with the hair dryer. So my hair dryer is right here. This guy needs to go there. There we go. I'm going to move him. There we go. All right. Okay, I have this red fabric that is from an old comforter. So I'm trying to see if I can maybe get a wide enough piece to put behind our man here. Yeah, see, that's not wide enough. Hang on, I might have a bigger piece somewhere. If I don't knock everything over. I apologize for the fan if you can hear that. I just really like that red. So here's a wider piece. Let's put the scissors away before it ends up on my lap. And cut this like that. Snip it here. Yeah, see, this doesn't tear very well. Let's see. There we go. For whatever reason, it doesn't tear the one way, but it tears really well the other. I don't get it. Yeah, see, this way it just wants to fray. There we go. Let's see. Why did it tear that way? I don't understand. I don't understand. So we're just gonna kind of give it a ragged. See, it ripped fine that way, so I'm just trying to figure out. There we go. Let's get two of the edges the way I want them. This might be too big, so we'll see. Oh my gosh, now there's red everywhere. There we go. I like it just like that. Okay. So I'm gonna make this a little more square. Where's that? Make that like that. So we're just gonna, probably would help to take the pin out, Tish. You're probably right, Tish. So let's see, this side down. So we're gonna put a little bit of glue in the bigger sections. If I had spray adhesive, that'd be great. But I do, and it's downstairs in the garage because I don't want to use it up here. But if I was doing this not on a live stream, I would just run downstairs and spray this real quick. because sometimes spray adhesive is a really good option. And I just usually put a glove on and then spray it in my hand. I don't bother. I step outside in the grass because I don't spray stuff very often. All right, that'll do. Let's grab it right there. There's no glue there. And we want this kind of kittywampus like that. There we go. And then just going to take a little of this. And then we'll tack it down where we want it. Just right about like that. And then here's a red string out. And actually, we're going to take the black ink real quick. And we're just going to go around the edge of this to get rid of the white line from cutting it. And then we'll hit it with some brown too. Vintage it up a little bit. Excuse me, I've got the hiccups and they will not go away. They go away for about 10 minutes and then they just come right back. There we go. And then we're going to hit this with some brown too. Let's bring out our this is Archival Ink Coffee. I'm just going to come in and give him some variation to color. Now, I've never used rubbing alcohol with embossing powder, so we're going to see what happens. But I want this to blend out a little bit, so I'm going to spray it over on the other side of my desk here, so I'm not spraying it over everything. So, well, it did something really cool. Hasn't really affected the embossing powder. So I'm going to see how many pages. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is just coffee dyed paper. And this is cardstock. Let's see what I got in the bin up here. I know I have more coffee dyed paper up here. Eco dyed. These 5. 6, 7, 8, 9. Works for me. Okay. We're going to put this here and let that finish drying just for a moment. We're going to get my oh, what's it called? Scoreboard. There we go. No, this isn't NFL. And we are, since it's 8.5, we do 4 1/4. I have a better luck using the scoreboard to help me get the page folded straight. So I'm going to do 2 pages at a time just to make this go a little faster. But for me, it works better to do it this way. And if they're not perfectly cut, I'm okay with it. Or perfectly folded, not cut. I was just thinking, maybe we should deckle the edges. It's like, deckle the planet. Okay. There we go. And I know they're not perfect in there. I don't trust myself. Not today. It's been a great day. All right. And I am done with this for now. Let's get our signature together. So there we go. So I've got 9 pages, or 9 sheets. So that's 36 pages, which is great for a little journal like this. Okay, now that red thread is just everywhere. And take this and lay it down. And we're going to just put a circle of glue down. There we go. And silicone spatula it down. Hopefully it'll stay a little bit. No, it's not going to. So we're going to have to do this one-handed. Do. This is our glitter glue. It is my favorite glue for majority of things. All right, we got that there. And that's straight-ish. Okay. Just gonna press this down. And I might actually have to get, yep, we're gonna have to get the Fabri-Tac out, which is fine. Now we at least have an idea of where we need the glue to go. Not exactly where I wanted it, but that's okay. Handmade. All right. Now, I'm going to take this, put this on there. We're going to grab, oh, I keep losing that little handle guy. I don't know where he goes. So we'll put this on this side. And we're just going to clamp this down for a minute. I lost the foot to this guy. It's somewhere. It should be right on it because I just put it on it. It's probably in, hang on. It's probably in this bin that it was hanging on. Maybe it fell off. No, I don't see it. It's okay. We'll find it when we're sweeping. Me, myself, and I. All right, let's see. Let's put this aside just for a moment while that sets up. I am going to go through my stickers, and these are my rub-ons. Those are not what I was looking for. I've got a bunch of temporary tattoos in here too. That's not what I'm looking for. Tons of daisies and dragonflies. I wonder why. Bullet journal. Oh, here we go. These are all from the Dollar Tree, because I go into the Dollar Tree and okay, so there's butterflies. Oh, here we go. Maybe. No, I'm going to save those for later. Need to put something. Those are not what I'm looking for. Those are unicorns, nautical. That might be something, I don't know. Coffee. They don't even make some of these stickers anymore. Those are shells. I don't want seashells. Well, those are silver. These are all gold. But I do have a silver butterfly. Yeah, those are all gold. What happened to the silver, yo? That's gold. That's black. I like that 9. I have silver stickers with gold transfers. Ah, yeah. Jeez. Those are stickers that go up here. Those are so pretty. I use those on a journal. Those go up here with the other stickers. Stickers. There we go. Okay, well, I'll get one of the silver ones and we'll just have to like antique it down. Okay. I kind of like this butterfly right here, just to put on the outside, and then put maybe a couple of the little ones on the inside. Maybe. I'm really liking this lock though. Maybe we do the lock on the front. I think so. Okay, put these guys back. Come on. And I really like this 9. I'm just gonna put the 9 up in the corner and then stamp it with my 73. So, all right, let's get our cover again. He should be dry-ish. There's 1, 2. There we go. Just get this guy out of the way. And I think this lock is exactly what I need to balance this out. So I like doing 5 elements and I only have 4. So we gotta rectify that. There we go. I think that should go right there. And that'll help anchor this all down a little bit more. So I'll put a dot of glue here, and then a dot of glue here. Oopsie daisy. You know what we're gonna do? It should work. I should have done this before I put the glue on it. Is we're gonna ink up the edges a little bit because they're a little white. So, but what do you expect? It's Dollar Tree. And I always put extra glue on the Dollar Tree stuff. Always, 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 always. So, yeah, let's do that right there. Give it a push down. And find my rake. There we go. Okay. Now, let's do the inside. We're done with the glue. We're done with this glue, but we're not done with this glue. I got another project I need to do after we're done here. So, got our signature ready. And we're gonna staple that guy in. We're not even gonna sew because I don't wanna. And this is about quick and simple. This isn't about making it complicated. and I've already made it complicated enough. But like I said, you don't need, I mean, this is something that was an investment. This is an old comforter. This is something I got at a thrift store. This black stuff is something I got at a thrift store for 50 cents, I think. Yeah, 50 cents. This, I got a bunch of stickers. How many are on here? 13 stickers for $1.25. Actually, I've had these since before they went to $1.25. So 13 stickers for $1 plus tax. Because I don't have my tax ID number. There we go. Let's slide that in there. That way we can put it back where it belongs. And then remember how we had this little edge right here? We're just going to take our scissors and not those scissors. Where'd my other scissors go? Right there. These are longer, so it'll go faster. Excuse me. And we're just going to cut this little edge off a little bit. Just a little bit, maybe. There we go. And then we're going to take our sandpaper. And we're just going to run it along the edge. Like that. Just like that. And distress the whole edge. Okay. And then we're going to do this one that we had that's sticking over the edge like that. So take our scissors. Distress this. And we're going to hit this and distress this. Even though we didn't have the overlaying, we're going to make it all the same-ish. Okay. Looks good to me. Take the towel, wipe it off, and then we'll hit it in a moment, but we're going to get our next step complete before we do this. There's some twisted citron in here, so there we go. And it's still a little cool, but it'll work. I'm gonna put this in our score pal. We're gonna take, where the ruler went. Okay, I gotta clean this up because stuff is starting to slide under my chair. And that is a recipe for disaster. Okay. So I got my ruler. Give me one moment. Okay, so I'm lining it up. I'm lining it up with 5 1/4. Actually, hang on. Where's this line up to? 6. Okay. Line it up with 6. That way I can line my ruler up and get that notch and this notch. And we're going to take this little bone folder and we're going to press this down a few times. Make sure we get it nice and firmly scored. That should do it. And then, very carefully, sometimes having a ruler in there helps. Fold it over. And it tore a little bit there, but that's something we can just ink up and it'll be fine. So, we take our fingers and just kind of press it down. There we go. Okay. And then, now that we have that done, because I didn't want to spend any more time with it in case it broke, because I've had that happen. Now we'll come in with our purple. I had the purple dauber. I thought I did. Purple. And we'll just ink it in with purple. Okay, and then we're going to hit the edge with black again. Okay. And I want to just stress this on the inside. Actually, let's get that 9 in here. I've never used this. I've never used these before. I have a gajillion of them, but I haven't used, have not used them. So I like this 9. I suppose you could say it was a 6 too. But one thing I've learned from the cheap ones is you're going to want to fussy cut it a little bit, and I'll do that here in a second. Need to get that out of the way. So I'm going to just kind of get as close to the 9 as I can, because they are none too careful with what they coat these with. So I'm going to try and get as close as I can. I'm not going to bother with the inside, I just won't rub that as hard, I guess. But it doesn't bother me as much either. So if you get the more expensive ones, you don't have to do this. Like the iron orchid ones, those are amazing. I hope someday that I can, when I start to carry product, I hope someday I can carry their product. But I need to have a brick and mortar store first, which I don't have yet. There we go. Oops. Now we take off the white paper. And we're going to put this number 9 up here. And take this. If this doesn't work, we'll put a piece of ephemera over it, call it a day. All right, that should be good. That looks great. I love it. Let's put that back. I'm gonna put that in the garbage before the cats try to eat it. I'm gonna move the signatures out of the way. The rest of the stuff is okay. Because we got some twisted citron, so I'll make it look like it's supposed to be there. Plus I want to kind of bring the front in. There we go. That looks good to me. Oh, I missed it with rubbing alcohol because it dries faster and it still oxidizes without making it spread. Okay. Now we're going to hit this with a hair dryer. Okay, I think we're dry. Mostly. All right, let's fold it in half again. That's our cover. That's our inside. And now we need to make sure our papers are going to fit, and they are. So when I'm going to staple this in, and when I staple things in, I lay them flat as they will go. And that's about where we want it. So we're going to take, I took out my stapler too soon. Okay, and then I'm gonna use my ruler to push it down into the seam, and then paper clip as much as I can so it doesn't move. Need more paper clips. Now I've got the hiccups again. And the reason why I use paper clips versus using binder clips is because I want it to be able to lay flat once I get it all down. So there we go. And hold this in place and open it flat. And then adjust it if we need to. There we go. Make sure it stays flat. It's a lot of just opening and closing till you get it just right. That's why sometimes stapling is more of a pain in the butt. There we go. We're lined up pretty well. And here's where the part where it gets interesting. So normally I have a piece of foam that I use, but it got wrecked from all the staples that I used. So we're just going to use a rolled up towel. I'm going to lay it flat. Actually, we're going to leave it one more open like that. There we go. Now it can lay flat. Now, when you're using your stapler, that's not trying to remember how to, that opens up the staple part. I think maybe that's the wrong one. Let's see. Here we go. I'll just use this one. Make sure there's staples in it. Oh, there's green staples. Very cool. Okay. I forgot I had colored staples. Oh, I have like hot pink too, but green is better. Now, you want to look at your stapler. If it helps at all, take a Sharpie and mark where your staples come out. I've already done it here. So you take a Sharpie and mark where your staples come out. So that way you can line that line up with the edge. So we're going to do one in the middle-ish. Like that. One at the bottom-ish. Okay, at the top. And then one in the middle of these two. And then one in the middle of these two, which is right about here. Okay, and then we'll gently take it off of there, flip it over, and then what I do is I use this end of my tweezers and just fold it over. You can fold them in, you can fold them out. All right, and then once I get them in, then I push them with a handle of something. Okay. And then before we do anything else, there it is. Let's grab this. I'm going to put a piece of washi tape down the middle, so that way no one pokes themselves on a staple. But I've got this DIY washi that doesn't exactly match the theme, but it's pretty close. And so we'll take a piece of this. Go. That right there for now. Just get it out of my way. And we always put glue on the back side. So get the Boho glue out. Okay, and we're going to cut this end straight. And it's easier for me to do it side to side than it is up and down. So line that up. And that corner got folded over, so we're going to be a little bit short, which is fine. As long as the staples get covered, that's all that I really worry about. There we go. Take our brayer or our bone folder and burnish that down. There we go. Take off our paper clips. And fold the pages over. There we go. And now that we have this in, we'll hit this with some black ink. Let's hit it with brown first, and then come back with the black. That's why I love doing grungy journals, because this being kind of frayed and stuff, it just adds to the aesthetic. So we're going to hit it with brown first. Not worrying about the staples, because the staples are green, which I got them on Amazon, so it's kind of fun. Got some, excuse me, some paper dust in there in the cover, and then we'll just kind of come in. There we go. Okay, now, because this thing wants to pop open, and that's just because it hasn't gotten its memory yet. This paper really doesn't have memory. You can bend it to your will. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get, I got somewhere, there we go. Now you could tie a ribbon around this, you could put some kind of other closure on it, but for today we're just going to use a little gold binder clip, just like that. Oh, we forgot the one thing that I've been doing to all my journals, and this is how I've been signing them, is I have a stamp with the number 73. And that's why I said I want a 9 in that corner, so the 73 makes more sense. And I have a couple other stamps that I use too, but for now, we're just gonna leave it like that. And there we go. Ta-da! We made that in a little over 2 hours. And I think, you know, you could give this as a gift or a happy birthday, pin a paper clip, a gift card inside. And that way they get some kind of neat hand-gifted item, handcrafted item that you made with your own 2 hands, some stuff you had laying around the house. And you know, it just adds to the joy that should be coming with giving a gift. So there we go. There you are. And I will see you in the next one for the next one. We are on, this is journal 25. We have 5 more to go, and then we will be done. Okay, why is my, there we go. My mouse wasn't working. Now I don't know why this doesn't want to work. So we're gonna have to use the other mouse. It should be right on the screen. Why is it not? All right. Anywho, remember, be kind to one another. Peace, love, and happiness. As I get up and go over to my computer and turn off the live stream. Here we go. Maybe. End stream. See you soon.